Hey everybody, it's been a long time since I last did a video, so today I'm going to try to be brief about this and let the footage kind of speak for itself. I'm trying to do not necessarily a review, but rather a torture test on the Taurus TX22, new pistol they came out with in this year, 2019. And I've seen a couple of review videos out there, and seeing people do videos where they're putting like 200 rounds through it, or the first 1,000 rounds, blah blah blah, and seeing how well the gun shoots. And really, this isn't necessarily done. I'm not doing this in order to see how well it shoots. I don't really care to see if it'll last 500 rounds, 200 rounds. No, I'm putting 2,000 plus rounds through this firearm. In fact, if you take a look here, I have two 550 packs as well as a 1,000 round pack. So I have about 1,100 rounds, excuse me, 2,100 rounds of which I'm going to put through this thing. And I have to say that this is by far one of the best 22s that I've seen come out recently. This is brand new. I haven't even shot it yet. This is the first time I'm even going to shoot it. What I've done to it so far is I've opened it, cleaned it, and I have oiled it using, see if I even have it with me. I'm pretty sure I brought it with me. Awesome. Let me see if you can see that. Cherrybalmz brand Rimfire Remedy. This is by far the best lube that I have ever come across for 22s. This stuff will let your gun continue to run, and if you have a finicky 22, try putting that in it. Stuff works pretty decently. So the only thing that I've done to the gun so far is pretty much cleaned it from the factory, lubed, and I've loaded up some mags. Now I can say that finding magazines for this gun is not very easy. I was able to, it came with 2 in the box, and then I was able to find some from, can't remember the online vendor, but I found an online vendor who had them, and they were like 20, almost 25 bucks each, and they only had 2 available, and they were the only 2 that I was even able to find online. So Taurus, if you're watching this, help me out, hook me up with some mags or something. I'm trying to show folks that your gun can last 2,000 rounds or more. The reason why I chose 2,000 as kind of an arbitrary number is that I love shooting 22s. I love shooting 22 pistols. Every 22 pistol that I have has about 5,000 to 10,000 rounds through it. And the only one so far that I have that has even broken due to this amount of round count was my ISSC M22s. Both of them broke. And where they broke was with the takedown block. The takedown block has, I'm not even going to get into it. ISSC M22s broke after about maybe 8,000 to 10,000 rounds each. It was a lot of rounds. So I'm really just going to put 2,000 through this just as a start. And I am going to do it silenced. So I'm going to put 2,000 rounds of 22 LR through my suppressor, which means that I'm gonna have a hella hard time trying to clean this thing afterward. But it's all for the fun of it. It's for you folks out there in the world, see how well this gun does. So no more ado, let's go ahead and get down to it. All right, so I had some difficulties on that last round of 60 going through my mags here. I was having issues with failure to feeds. I couldn't figure out what was going on. It was happening with the first round of each mag. I think it's just based on the I don't know, the number of rounds that are in it, the 16. You know, after getting them mashed down in there, they just didn't want to pop up and chamber easily. But onward with the test. Other thoughts. So these mags are extremely difficult to load. And particularly, they do have like a little loading button there, as you can see. But the problem with it is that it's pretty much flush. That little button is flush, so it doesn't really stick up at all, which gives you a good chance of kind of getting, you know, good grip on them. So one thing that I'm considering doing already is maybe taking a what's the thing called, a soldering iron or something to it, and go ahead and stipple it a little bit. Maybe that might help. So back to it. All right, so let me go over some details of this firearm while, you know, there's a lull in the shooting, kind of letting it cool off a little bit. So so far I've had no issues with it, with the exception of having some failure to feeds from the magazine a couple times. That seems to have worked out since, and I'm actually starting to see how hot this thing is getting, because my lube is starting to cook on it and almost kind of caramelize. It's changing color on me. But the firearm itself is really, really nice. I'm really enjoying shooting it. The grip is quite textured, but it's not like it doesn't hurt your hand or anything like this. I have to say, I think that Taurus has hit a real home run in regard to this firearm, and I think that their whole purpose for coming out with it was in competition with this guy, the Smith & Wesson M&P 22 compact. The differences in between them are, the Taurus is more of a full size, this is more of a compact, kind of the same size as a M&P Shield. The Taurus actually came with a thread adapter for suppressed shooting. The M&P did not, so that's going to cost like another 25-30 bucks for me to shoot that one suppressed. And price wise though, the Taurus right now retails for about 300, between 275 and 300, and I think that's going to come down over the years. That's about the same price point that the M&P compact came out, and I want to say that I got that on sale for like 250, and that this is what, like 5 years after it came out. So I'm sure after time the Taurus will come down in price too. All right, so let me be the first to say I am not enjoying having to reload these mags. Oh my gosh, they take so long. I mean, they come with a little thumb press, like push them down and load them in, a little thumb loader. But man, these things take forever, and I'm only down about halfway through that 550 box right now. McFadden, what is it? McFadden Manufacturing or whatever. The makers of the lightning loader, please come up with an adapter for the TX22. That would make things so much better for me. For anybody who's out here shooting this thing, who's planning on putting more than like 2 mags through this thing. Also for those of us who like to shoot at rimfire competition, McFadden Machinery. That's them. McFadden Machinery. Please hook us up with an adapter for your lightning loader bullet gun thing. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so new thoughts. I'm finding that after, ooh, gotta be 500 rounds. Number one, the gun's still running perfectly. I owe that pretty much all to the Rimfire Remedy from Cherrybalmz. But the mags, with them getting as dirty as they are, I got to say that they're starting to not necessarily fall free as easily. Um, I mean, they got a lot of carbon built up on them, but a little bit of lead also. But that's pretty much it so far. No problems with the gun. It's going really good. So let's keep at it. All right, so that's 550 empty. That's the first 550 rounds that we were putting through that one. And now moving on to the next 550. I'm not going to clean this firearm. I am not going to relube it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm actually going to torture test both the gun as well as Cherrybalmz Rimfire Remedy. These are things that I have purchased. I am not endorsed by either Taurus nor Cherrybalmz. I just want to see if their product works and how well it works. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to see. I'm not going to clean it. I'm going to keep on going. All right, let's keep doing it. All right, so I'm in probably about 700 rounds, I think now, certainly over 600. And I'm starting to have more and more light primer strikes, and actually that's pretty much it, just a bunch of light primer strikes. So I'm guessing that the carbon and lead fouling in there is getting really, really bad, because it doesn't, I can't make it through a whole mag now without having at least a fail to fire due to light primer strike. A couple of times I'm able to reset the striker and it hits and it goes off. Sometimes it's not. So again, this is bulk pack stuff. It's finicky, but up until this point it's doing really good. So I'm guessing that this is all due to the amount of cleaning that it needs right now, which I'm not gonna do. We're gonna keep on going. We're gonna push through. We're gonna push through. We're gonna push through. All right, so I had a new problem on that last volley of ammo. So I was kind of unleashing on my on that 8-inch circle target down there from moatargets.com. Let me just give him a plug. And I want to say that about halfway through the mag, I just started not hitting. I was like, what's going on here? I was thinking that maybe maybe the sight had drifted or something like that, and that's not the case. It was actually the adapter had undone itself a little bit, but got that screw back on. Now I'm good to go. All right, so that is the first 1100, scratch that, 1150 rounds, 1160 rounds, the very first 1160 rounds through the Taurus TX22. No problems with it. Nothing broke, which is to be expected. I certainly wouldn't want to pay $300 for a gun and it break within 1,000 rounds. But nothing broke, which is great. The only hiccup was the light primer strikes, which I can say that when I did initially get the gun and cleaned it and lubed it, I took no action regarding the firing pin whatsoever. I didn't lube that. I didn't open it up or try to break it down to get to the firing pin. I'm not sure if there's even a tutorial out there that would tell me how to do that. Problems that I've seen with it, I already mentioned, but the biggest thing is availability of magazines. When you try to load them, these little pressers here, these are hard to get to unless you can, you know, kind of dig in there with your fingernail. What other issues? The light primer strikes, which I discussed already, and that's it. Oh, one other thing, scratch that. One other thing, the mag release. So it's flush with the grip here, and as you can see, this kind of ridge comes up and keeps you from, you know, erroneously pressing the mag release, but that also makes it a little bit difficult to release mags also. So I'm thinking a little bit of time with the Dremel should be able to bring that down. I like the fact that, you know, it's got the recessed kind of part of the handle there, the relief cut that allows you to, you know, grip better, but that also lends to making it harder for pressing the mag release. So thinking just, you know, sanding that down with the Dremel should take care of that. This is just part one, since like I said, it's Easter and I got to make my way to Easter dinner. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the video right here, and next week hopefully I'll go ahead and be able to come back out here, put the other 1,000 rounds of M22. Either I will do the M22 or I may just go with something that I have, which is much dirtier, and that is some Blazer 22, and that is by far the dirtiest ammo I have ever seen in my entire life, and I've got a couple of bulk packs of that. So I may just go ahead and skip doing the M22 because it's nice and clean, and go with the dirtier stuff. I am not going to clean the pistol at all. I'm going to leave it as is, and let's see if we can get some better pics of just how grimy things are in there. Ooh, the sun is a little bit too bright. There we go. It's not too horribly bad in there. You can kind of see under the slide there, you got some of the grease kind of coming out and lots of carbon buildup right there on the is that the ejector and the extractor also. Yeah, try to get back in there. There it is. Lots of carbon buildup. I'm going to do a teardown of my of my suppressor here, and we're gonna have to look on the inside of that thing. I really am afraid of what it's gonna look like in there. But all in all, 1160 rounds through the Taurus TX22, and things are looking good so far. There are no breakages, no stoppages, nothing. It's looking good so far. Again, I'm not going to clean this in between these range sessions. I'm going to keep it as is and see how well the Cherrybalmz brand Rimfire Remedy grease holds up. So far it's holding up well. How many gun lubes can you say, or how many 22s can you say will go through 1160 rounds without cleaning, without additional lubing, and the only issue that it had was some light primer strikes? If that does not tell you how well this lube does, I don't know how else to convince you. Let me show you one more time what this is. Come on, get in focus, you bastard. There we go. Cherrybalmz Rimfire Remedy. Optimized for finicky 22s, allowing you to use cheap ammo reliably. Keeps all rimfire shooting longer. That is true. Extremely slick. Do not use on sears. Not for use on bore, chamber, ramps, mags. Apply liberally to all friction surfaces. If it has rub wear, even tiny, lube it. Keep out of reach of children and pets. It may stain some non-metallic materials with all greases. Some oil bleed as normal. Shake or stir as needed. And let's see if we have any of their information. Cherrybalmz weapons lubricant from Sparks, Nevada. Absolutely love these guys. They know what they're doing. The size, don't let the size of the bottle throw you off. A little bit goes a long way. So Cherrybalmz, it's real good stuff. Look into it. If you have a rimfire that you've been having problems with, this will remedy those problems. Promise you that. All right, until the next video, see you guys later. Enjoy your Easter and have a good week.